Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to do kind of like headshots with a green screen. Um, just how to edit those photos, take out the green screen, touch them up, and get them ready for the next asset, really. That way you can place a background behind them, Photoshop into other things, stuff like that. So what you're going to need for sure is going to be Adobe Photoshop. And then if you have Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Bridge, that'd be helpful. So first, go to our files. In our case, our files are on our server network drive, and so we can't use Lightroom on network drives, unfortunately. So we're just gonna go straight into Photoshop. But as you can see here, we're on a Windows computer. I know Macs, you can see previews of RAW files, but you can't here on Windows. So I do have Adobe Bridge, and that's free with Creative Cloud. Free download, but it allows you to see and preview those files, those raw files. So you can see here, huge files. So we're gonna go through here and we're gonna kind of touch them up and get the background out. That way we can use them, in this case for the client's website. So I have my file here that I'll start with. So I'm just gonna right click on it and do open with Adobe Photoshop. You can also just take your time and open these up one by one until you find the photo that you want to use, or if you have Lightroom, you can open those up in Lightroom and then into Photoshop. So in this case, we're going to do everything just through Photoshop. When you open up a RAW file in Photoshop, it comes up the Camera Raw plugin or window, and we can zoom in here and we can see everything we need to do. Well, I like to start off with just do it auto. It does pretty good, gets that white balance right. Now we can go into the edit. So this is really important. Down here where it says open, there's a drop down arrow, so we're gonna click that. We're gonna do open as object. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna open the image in Photoshop as a smart object, as you can see here. Awesome, so we got that ready to go. What I like to do is press Ctrl J on the keyboard and it makes a duplicate copy. Reason why I do that, I know I have a safe copy that I can come back to just in case. Even though it's a smart object, the good thing about smart objects is it's non-destructive editing. So we're gonna go up here to select, up here on the top left, go down to color range, and it should open up kind of like this. This is kind of scary, but we're gonna do invert right here. So now we can see the person. I'm gonna take my plus eyedropper tool right here, click on it. I'm gonna click on the green. So that knocks out a lot of that green. And sometimes, depending on the lighting, you might have to add different types of colors of green in there. But this one did a pretty good job first try, so I'm just press OK. Or you can come back and adjust this fuzziness. Hit myself a little bit, so I can bring this down. And you can see how there's some green coming up. So we'll adjust this a little bit more. Knock some of that green out, just press OK. So now we have this selected, and we're gonna hit the mask tool right down here. I just clicked it, and now we have a mask. Awesome. You see, now it's kind of like, her shirt is semi-transparent. There's a lot of things going on, so we need to get in there and clean that up. So first what I'm gonna do is just make sure I take out everything I don't want. So with the mask selected, I'm gonna press B on my keyboard. B is in Bravo, and that opens up the brush tool. You can come down here on the left hand side of the toolbar. Usually you'll have black and white. If I press X on my keyboard, it changes those between. So the white color will reveal the background. And if you press X, it changes it to black, and it will make the background disappear. So I'm gonna right click on my key or on my mouse, pull my brush size up, and I'm gonna paint away the stuff I don't need. I'm actually gonna turn my hardness all the way up and move this up a little bit more. That way I can get all that background out that I know I don't need. Even down here. Perfect. So we can go through here, just make sure we knock out some of these things. And what I like to do sometimes is if I can't see, I'll come down here underneath this layer that we're working on and hit this new layer tool, hit solid color. Then I'll change it to like red or something really bright, and I can see what's going on. And then I'll just lock that so I don't mess with it. So now we can see, she's got red eyes, her hair's not looking too good. We can see through her shirt. So again, let's just go through here and take out what we don't need. Take our time. Perfect. So now you see we need to bring the image back through where it's cut off right here. So I'm gonna hold Control on my keyboard, and then if I hover my mouse over the mask layer right here, if I click on it, she lights up. Perfect. So with her lit up, I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard again, make sure I have my brush tool, and then I'm gonna make sure it's white. So I'm gonna hit X to change it back to white. Then I'm gonna paint her back in, and we make sure your hardness is up, and I'm gonna start painting her back in. That way we can get some of these edges back, and we're staying within the lines for now. See, we're just painting it all back in, especially on these edges. And you can see there's still some areas that aren't looking right. But now that we've painted this back in, if we hold Control D, hit that, and we have our edges back a little bit better. So if we hold Control again on the keyboard and come back to the mask and do the same thing, now we have a little bit more we can work with. And you can do that till you feel confident to turn the guides off. So I'm gonna hit Control D, turn my guides off, and with my mask, my brush tool on the mask, make sure it's white. I'm gonna take my time and go back into here. Look at that. Kind of paint all of this back in. Again, I'm just taking my time. And no rush. Make sure we get her face, her hair. And what we might can do is try the new Photoshop tools for masking and see if we can get that hair a little bit better. But right now, let's just worry about all the solid objects. Awesome. Looks pretty good. This camera is so high quality you can see the lint on the shirts, so something you might have to watch out for. Okay. Now everything but our hair looks pretty good as far as masking goes. So what we can do, since we're in the newer Photoshop, and then does it tell me which Photoshop I have? Photoshop version right here. But if you have any of the newer CC Photoshops, this will work. So I'm gonna double click on the mask right here. And then I'm gonna do refine hair right up here at the top of the toolbar. And then you can kind of see it did a little bit better job. I'm gonna press OK. And you can change this. You can go through here and see as you see fit. I'll just press OK and see what we got here. So I'm gonna hit Control on the mask again. I'm gonna paint this in. Get some of these curls back. And you can still see a little bit of green around her hair, but we're going to paint in color of her hair back anyway, since she has a little bit of gray or a little bit desaturated brown in her hair than she does at the bottom. So we're gonna fix that as well. So we got this, so we're gonna try doing that mask again on her hair, see if we can refine it a little bit better. Let's see here. Show her edge up here. And then we'll see if we can just adjust these settings around her hair. Let's try that. So it looks like just because her hair is so much going on right here that it's still having a hard time. That's okay. But when just zooming in, I can see that there's some nastiness going on right here. My mouse right here. See how that's not supposed to be there? I'm gonna click on the mask again, hit B on my keyboard. I'm gonna make my brush smaller. Okay, remember, hit X and make sure it's black. Now I'm going to erase this stuff right here. Another cool thing what we can do is if we can hold control on our keyboard and click on the mask. See how she's lit up and the stuff we want to take out is kind of on the outside? Well, if we hit W on the keyboard, and then you right click and you click select inverse, it will select everything that's on the outside of her. So we're gonna hit B again. And now, with our black brush, we can paint out a whole lot more stuff. So with this, let's just make our brush way bigger. And let's just kind of go crazy, right? Let's just make sure we got everything out of these edges. Kind of go crazy. Just painting away. Really just making sure we've got it all. Okay, there we go. Hit Control D to erase that. Now we have a much better mask of her. And there's still a few things that just, you know, because of the way her hair is, that you can take your time and kind of clean up as you see fit. Like some of these flyaways, you know, we can take some of those away. We want to do our best not to do what I just did. See how I have a straight line here? So let me take that out. You want to try to, make sure it's black. Try not to be so smooth, if that makes sense. Because her hair isn't naturally smooth. Let's get these flyaways. Okay. So, next what we're going to do is we're going to try to bring that color back into her hair, back onto the edges of the scene. So, I'm going to come down here to the new layer. Hit that new layer tool. And then where it says normal up here, under the type of opacity and blending options, I'm going to go to color at the very bottom. Hit color and hit enter on my keyboard. And then what I like to do is hold Alt down on my keyboard. See if I hold Alt down and I move my mouse in between these two layers, you get kind of this weird tool option. Let me hit that. So what that does is creates a clipping mask. So again, another option is to right click on this layer. You can see create clipping mask. You can do that as well. So with that selected, I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard to bring up my brush tool. I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger. And then I'm gonna bring my hardness all the way down. Now we're gonna bring this color back in. So over here on our color swatch, it's green. What I wanna do is I'm gonna hit I on the keyboard. Now I'm gonna sample the color of her hair. This is brown. So I got that color. Now I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard again. So you can see over here in my toolbar, my swatch is brown. I'm gonna color this back in. And it might take you a while to kind of get the right tone of people's hair. So this one's just a little bit too brown right here. So maybe I can go a little bit darker. Maybe that's too light. I just want to kind of paint this in here. Again, maybe I want to make this another color and kind of try to paint this in. And I'm going to bring this back. Oop, got that. Oh, not that color either. Again, we're just trying to find a happy medium for their hair. I want it to be a little bit brighter, but I don't want it to be where it looks fake. This might be a good. And because we're painting, we can do these in layers and we can go back over them with different opacities. You know, so I can hit E to erase and I can erase some of what I did right here. I don't want to get too far up in her hairline. And I'm gonna go back over it again with a little bit darker to add some shading in there. It's a little bit too dark. Again, we're trying to find our happy medium to get this hair just right. We don't want her hair to look Photoshop per se. So we got that, and now we're gonna go to her shirt. So again, I'm hitting my eyedropper tool, hit her shirt, and I'm gonna paint in these edges of her shirt just to make sure I don't have anything crazy going on. We have some green up in there, so we painted that black. Perfect. We're gonna clear this, kind of make sure we're getting that back in there. There we go. Painting in that. And this can get pretty take up a lot of time, so you make sure you do it right. The good thing again is we're working with smart objects. We can go in here and we can clean up some of that trash on his shirt, stuff like that. And then I'm gonna come back to this mask, and I'm gonna work on her hair a little bit more. I don't quite like all these flyaways. I'm turn my hardness like kind of in between. Some of these flyaways just don't look right. And if you're doing the photos, you can kind of watch out for that type of stuff. Yeah, let's just make sure that we don't have, I change my brush back to white to get some of this mask correct again. You really need to take your time and just pay attention to everything. Like with her leg right here, if I hit P on my keyboard, it brings up the path or shape tool. I'm gonna hit path, and then I'm going to try to draw a path around her pants to see if I can bring that back in. So again, I'm making my path, and then now that I've got that, I'm gonna right click and hit make selection. That's okay. Hit B on my keyboard, make sure it's white, and then I'm just coloring that back in. See, if I do over here, nothing happens, but if I'm inside that selection, I'm able to get that back in. So Control D to let go of that. And that's basically it. So now I have my red background. I can unlock that and delete it. Or you know what, I can change it. We can change the colors, It could be white, gray, whatever. I mean, you can even, let's see here. We can even, this is a horrible example, but you can put, trees or something behind people. Let's just find something. This is not what you would put behind them, but so we just paste it in there. Say you would. Maybe I didn't grab it. Okay. Maybe my Photoshop is just not wanting to work with us today. Here we go. I got a picture right here we can just drag in there. There we go. So now we can put different backdrops back there, and then usually if you do something like this, then you take the background and you blur it a little bit. There we go. So again, you can put whatever you want behind people, colored, solid object, image, and that is basically it. And then what I like to do whenever I do this type of stuff is I will save a PSD. So I'm going to save as, and then I'll go to that folder that has all these images, or that these images are going to be at. So I got it on my server here, put it in there, and then I can just you can rename it whatever you want. I'm going to just save PSD. That way I can come back if I feel like I need to redo something. I can come back and re-edit it. You can also save it as a PDF or a .tiff file, whatever you see fit for the application you're working with. PDF is going to be, you can open that in any type of computer and program most of the time, but whatever you see fit. And that's basically it on how to do like a green screen cutout. So let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm glad to help.